I want to bring in Lori Bettinger, the president of BancAlliance. She was also the former director of the Troubled Asset Relief Program, or TARP. Lori, great to be with you. What were your takeaways from this jobs report?
Well, I would say that as we heard, I think this is generally a good sign. It was nice to see that the number of jobs added exceeded expectations. But like with so much data recently, there's always a but. And as we just heard, it didn't capture all of the impacts of, the recent sort of international issues and the challenges and rising gas prices. So it was great to see. And I certainly think it probably takes some pressure off the Federal Reserve when they look at, can they continue to try and fight inflation? How do they feel about the job market? How do they keep those two things in balances? And hopefully this gives them a little bit more room to focus on the inflation side of the equation without worrying as much, at least in the next couple of months, about the strength of the job market. So it was nice to see, but I'm not sure we can sort of cry victory yet and say that the job market is stable and healthy and, smooth sailing for the rest of the year. I'm not sure we're quite there.
And to your point, with gas prices soaring and inflation fears looming, what did the report have to say about wages? Are they trending up or down?
So they're trending up but not by as much as we've seen in recent years. In fact, I think the annual wage growth was the lowest since spring of 2021. So wages are growing, but not necessarily as quickly as all of the other expenses in our lives, particularly things like gas, which it's hard not to talk about right now. So it's always good to see that wage growth, but it might not be sufficient to allow us to spend at the same levels or buy the same items, given some of these increases in prices. And I think it's interesting to see that, when there's a lot of movement in the job market, that's when you see people, leaving and maybe taking a new opportunity that pays more. But as you mentioned, we're in this sort of low hire, low fire world where people aren't changing jobs as much anymore, and they might not be getting that effect of going to a new job and really materially increasing their salary. So I think it's still going to be a little bit tough for a lot of households right now.
Lori Bettinger, thank you so much.